ringing. I didn't hear too much of what he had said, but there was an inner voice that said to me, by his stripes you were healed. So instantly I was at peace, and I looked at him and I said, don't worry about it. I said, which I'm sure was not a normal response that people give these doctors.
Yes.
I said, listen, don't worry about it. I said, I am, I do believe that I'm a carrier of Cooley's anemia, which is thalassemia, and that is a genetic deformity of the red blood cells, carries less oxygen, so I figured that's why my iron is so low, and this is what they're looking at. And he said, number one, I'm not worried. Basically, it's your body. Why would he worry?
Peace. Amen.
And he said, number two is, based on your age, he said, if you were 70 years or older, then I would say that it's possible, false positive. He said, but what all the test results are showing is that you're positive for it. He said, but there are other tests to take. In the meantime, he said, and he gave me the choice of 2 different types of tests, to determine 100% whether or not this was multiple myeloma. So naturally, I opted for the least invasive testing. When I left the doctor's office that day, it hit me when I got in the car, and I thought of my kids.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought, no, this can't be happening now. My history is that both my parents are deceased from cancer.
Okay, so it runs in the family.
So, yeah, and my grandparents on my father's side passed away from cancer. So, and his siblings as well, my father's siblings. So, and I really believe I take after my father a lot, but generational curses you don't have to accept in your life.
No, you don't.
So, thank God, like I said, I had the backing, I had the education, as a Christian to know better. So I was, like any human being would be, I was really upset, putting myself in, or being in this position of this type of, serious jeopardy of, not being able to see my children grow up. And my aunt had called, my Aunt Linda. She's great, love her. And my mother had called me up, and she said she was woken up early in the morning, just the wee hours of the morning. It was too early to call anybody, and she had you on her mind. I hadn't heard from you. She said, are you okay? And I said, I'm hearing her voice. I just started crying. I said, well, believe it or not, I said, I was just told that, And she said, oh, no. My aunt is very aggressive. She says, no, this devil ain't going to take another family member of mine. And she said, pull the car over, we're praying. And that's exactly what I did. And from that point on, and then she called me again later on that night, and she said that, a cousin of mine had called her up as well and had me on her mind. So the Lord really, when the Lord is trying to intercede and trying to do something, he uses other people. And that's exactly what he did with my family members. I mean, they all had me on all the people that love me and Christian, they all had me on their mind, and they started praying, not knowing why.
Yes.
Of course, they found out later. And I'm just so grateful to have people like that in my life, and you have to give back. So anyway, what happened was, again, I opted for these tests and whatnot, and, they took every test. Well, the first oncologist said, definitely have it. So I said, and all my friends get a second opinion. So I went to Sloan Kettering. Sloan Kettering said, based on all the test results, this is what you have.
So they confirmed
right
through that.
So I said, well, okay, that's not what the Lord tells me, so I'm just going to move on. There were certain things that would happen, like when I even went to Sloan Kettering. The doctor was wonderful. But there were other members of the staff that were not so wonderful. And so I just knew that I didn't belong there. And I didn't want to go back there. Called my doctor again, and I said, listen, I don't want to go back to the first oncologist. I just came from Sloan Kettering. I got to find a different oncologist. She's okay. She puts me in touch with, or she gives me the name of, a doctor that, is in my insurance. And I called there, and the woman that registered me, she says, let me take all your vital information now. She says, then I could set you up at an appointment and register you. And so I said, oh, okay. So I pull my car over to the side of the road, and I give her all this information. And she says, when were you born? I said, I'm not going to say it now. And I told her, and she says, where were you born? And that's my